Triple Crown of Motorsport. It consists of winning the Indianapolis 500, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the Monaco Grand Prix. While not an official achievement, it hasn't stopped many drivers from attempting to accomplish it. 19 drivers have competed in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown, and have won at least one event. Drivers such as AJ Foyt, Phil Hill, Mike Hawthorne, Jim Clark, Bruce McLaren, Mario Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Jacques Villeneuve, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Fernando Alonso have all attempted the Triple Crown. Montoya and Alonso could potentially still pull off the feat, but Montoya still needs a win at Le Mans, and Alonso needs an Indy 500 victory. As of now and for the foreseeable future, there's only one man in the history of motorsports who has achieved the Triple Crown. 1966 Indianapolis 500 winner, 1972 24 Hours of Le Mans winner, and 5-time Monaco Grand Prix winner, Graham Hill. While the Triple Crown only has one true winner, an alternative definition replaces the Monaco win with the accolade of the Formula One World Drivers' Championship. Even then, Graham Hill is still the only driver to hold this achievement as well, winning the title in 1962 and 1968. While Graham Hill holds the one true Triple Crown of motorsport, there are plenty of other Triple Crowns in racing. The Triple Crown of endurance racing features the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Daytona, and the 12 Hours of Sebring. From 1971 to 1989, INDYCAR racing had their own Triple Crown. From 71 until 1980, it consisted of the 3 500-mile events throughout the season: the Indianapolis 500, the Pocono 500, and California 500. And in 1978, Al Unser won all 3 in the same season. After Ontario Motor Speedway's closure in 1980, the Michigan 500 replaced it, and after the removal of the Pocono race in 1989, the Triple Crown of INDYCAR was no more. The NHRA has its own Triple Crown, consisting of the Winter Nationals, the US Nationals, and the NHRA Finals. Australia even has their own Triple Crown: the Sandown 500, the Bathurst 1000, and the Supercars Championship. It's debatable whether or not NASCAR has a true Triple Crown. The closest thing that has ever come to it was the Winston Million. Introduced in 1985, the Million consisted of 4 races: the Daytona 500, the Winston 500 at Talladega, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, and the Southern 500 at Darlington. The richest race on the schedule, the fastest race on the schedule, the longest race on the schedule, and the oldest race on the schedule. If a driver won 2 of the 4 races, they got a $100,000 consolation prize. If they won 3 of the 4 races, they got a cool $1 million. And in the first year, Bill Elliott became $1 Million Bill, winning the Daytona 500, the Winston 500, and the Southern 500. Despite the early success of the program, it became very apparent that this would be an incredibly difficult feat for a driver to achieve every few seasons, like people were anticipating. Actually, it was somewhat rare for a driver to even be in contention to win the Million. It would take another 12 years for a driver to win the Winston Million, as Jeff Gordon won the Daytona 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and the Southern 500. The following year in 1998, the Winston No Bull 5 was introduced, which offered up to 5 $1 million bonuses throughout 5 selected races throughout the season. But after 2003, RJ Reynolds were forced to cease their sponsorship of NASCAR's Cup Series, following new government restrictions on tobacco advertising. Therefore, the No Bull 5 and the Winston Million were no more. You could argue now that the Daytona 500, the Coke 600, and the Southern 500 are the Triple Crown of NASCAR. And honestly, you would probably be right. But personally, there's another Triple Crown of stock car racing that holds a special place in my heart. Hailing from my home state of Virginia, I present the Virginia Triple Crown. Let's go over the basics. The Virginia Triple Crown consists of 3 of the most prestigious late model stock car races in the region, all in Virginia. The first leg of the Triple Crown is the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 at South Boston Speedway. First opened in 1957 as a quarter-mile dirt track, South Boston Speedway now sits as a 4/10 mile asphalt short track, and it's one of the finest in the country. On a weekly level, South Boston holds some of the most competitive late model racing in the region, and the track has seen some of the best late model drivers sit in the winner's circle. Drivers like Barry Beggerly, Ray Hendrick, Matt Bowling, Lee Pulliam, Peyton Sellers, and many more. But one driver stands above the rest. Philip Morris stands tall with 76 wins at South Boston Speedway, the most late model stock car wins by any driver in the track's history. 2023 will mark 40 years of late model stock car racing at the facility, and on July 1st, 2023, the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 will kick off the 10th Virginia Triple Crown. Once the checkered flag flies after 200 laps in South Boston, The next leg of the Triple Crown will land us at Langley Speedway for the Hampton Heat 200. Opening in 1950, Langley Speedway is a staple piece in the Mid-Atlantic region of racing. And with only 4 degrees of banking on the straightaways and 6 degrees of banking in the corners, it's one of the flattest tracks in the region. A little fun fact about this place is that it was the last race of the NASCAR Grand National Series before it was renamed to the Winston Cup. Since the inaugural Hampton Heat in 2008, some of the biggest names in late model racing have won it. Nick Smith, Woody Howard, Matt Bowling, Peyton Sellers, Lee Pulliam, Bobby McCarty, Philip Morris, Connor Hall, Brendan Queen, Josh Berry, and Jared Fryer have all claimed one Hampton Heat victory. There's only one driver with multiple wins in the event, that man being C.E. Falk. In 12 Hampton Heat starts, C.E. has 3 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, with 665 laps led. Nobody else measures close. After the 15th Hampton 200 ends, we move to the third and final leg of the Virginia Triple Crown, the Valley Star Credit Union 300 at Martinsville Speedway. It's gotten the comparison of being the Daytona 500 of late model racing, and I'd say it's fair to call it that. For winning, you get a grandfather clock, a big check, and your name etched in the late model history books. Late models have raced at NASCAR's oldest track since 1985. The format and features have changed a lot since then. They used to hold late model races in both the spring and the fall seasons, and varied from 100 to 150 lap events. 1993 saw the start of the current 200 lap format debut in the fall, and in 1995, the first ever standalone Taco Bell 300 took place, with Tony Maguire taking the win. Races would still be run in the spring and fall for the next couple of years, until 1998 saw a single race taking place in the fall, and that's the way it still is today. Every fall, late model racers from all across the region head to Martinsville to try to earn a starting spot in the feature, and they most definitely have to earn it. All entrants will qualify, then be split into 4 separate 25-lap heat races based on qualifying position. The top 10 finishers from each heat will be taken to the 200-lap main event. Nobody gets locked in from qualifying, and there's no last chance races anymore. You have one shot. Just making the field is a feat of its own, because if you do make it, you're in a field of the best, and only the best take home the grandfather clock. Drivers like Tony Maguire, Frank Denny Jr., Timothy Peters, Lee Pulliam, Tommy Lemons Jr., Mike Looney, C.E. Falk, Josh Berry, and Peyton Sellers have all won the event. But, like South Boston, Philip Morris stands above the rest, with 3 grandfather clocks to his credit. Hey, they don't call him the king just because the nickname sounds cool. He truly is the king of late model stocks. Martinsville caps off the Virginia Triple Crown, and the driver with the best average finish from the 3 races takes home a $7,000 check. The 2023 Triple Crown will be the 10th in its history, and if it's anything like last year, we're in for a hell of a show. The 2022 Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 was wild from the start. We saw the classic South Boston racing that late model fans all know and love. After a massive pileup that took out many contenders, it came down to an elbows-up battle for the win between primetime Corey Heim and Jacob Borst.
Dive in there really hard.
Jacob Borst is going to come off of turn number 4. He has got to get to the bumper of Corey Heim. Heim on the high side, Borst on the inside. They come off of turn number 2. Can Corey Heim clear Jacob Borst? Borst right to the bumper of the Heim as they go into turn 3. Jacob Borst side by side coming off of turn 4. Borst off of 4. Is it Heim? Is it Borst? Corey Heim will win tonight. Jacob Borst second. Peyton Sellers third. Corey Heim is your winner tonight.
The Hampton Heat featured a mostly clean race, with Jared Fryer dominating the late stages and claiming his first Hampton Heat trophy. Then, it was on to Martinsville. Qualifying ended with Bobby McCarty setting atop the speed charts, with a time of 19.748. McCarty would also win Heat 1, giving him the pole for the feature, but it wouldn't come without a fight from Caden Honeycutt and Brendan Queen. Chase Burrow would win Heat 2 after pulling away from the battle for second between Trevor Ward and Austin Samaro. Heat 3 would be full of heavy hitters in late model racing. 2008 Martinsville winner Jason York, 2016 winner Mike Looney, 2005 and 2017 winner Timothy Peters, 2022 Cars Tour late model stock champion Carson Quapple, Chris Van Dyke, Ryan Wilson, Stacy Puryear, and 2005 and 2021 NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series champion Peyton Sellers. Sellers has already left his mark on late model racing. He's a dominant force everywhere he races. South Boston, he wins there. Dominion, wins there as well. Well, how about him showing up at Motor Mile Speedway for the first time in years as the 2022 National Championship is entering its closing stages? He'll sit on the pole and win both twin 50-lap features. Despite the wins everywhere else, he has never taken home a grandfather clock. After a restart with 3 laps remaining, Puryear gets into Looney and causes a chain reaction behind them. While the field sits on the backstretch under caution as the track crew cleans up debris, we get a look at the damage on Peter's car. But hey, there's 2 laps to go after the next restart, and he's not going to give up track position. After a slide from Sellers coming off of turn 4, Looney will win Heat 3 with Sellers, Van Dyke, Peters, and Carter Langley rounding out the top 5. Heat 4 will be won by Daniel Silvestri, edging out 2021 Martinsville winner Landon Pemberton. The race would take the green flag, and the fans at the track and at home watching on FloRacing would be treated to a fantastic race. In the end, the race will be settled with a green-white checkered finish.
Who is it going to be? Waiting on the green flag. Peyton Sellers and Carson Quapple. Green flag is in the air.
That was a dead heat to the start-finish line between those 2 drivers. Quapple trying to pinch him down, but Sellers takes him up the racetrack a little bit. Hefner right in the tire tracks of Sellers, trying to bypass the number 8 machine. Quapple's able to get down on the bottom of the racetrack. Here they come off of turn 4. Quapple puts a little bit of nose to the back end of Sellers, and he launches like a rocket.
Peyton Sellers sees the white flag in his windshield. Peyton Sellers trying to win this race for the first time in his career. They are beating and banging off turn 2. Peyton Sellers in turn 3, looking for the win off 4.
Down off of turn number 4. Finally, it's going to happen. Peyton Sellers has defeated the Valley Star Credit Union 300. Your new champion, Peyton Sellers.
Let the headlines say tomorrow. He finally got it done. Peyton Sellers has won.
After 15 years, Peyton Sellers finally claimed victory at Martinsville. Along with the winner's check and the clock, Peyton would claim the 2022 Virginia Triple Crown, making it his 4th Triple Crown title. With racing season in full swing at the moment, the Virginia Triple Crown is getting closer and closer with each passing day, and the list of potential winners of the series is growing more and more. Peyton Sellers, Mike Looney, Carson Quapple, Brendan Queen, Bobby McCarty, Connor Hall, well, I could go on for days. If you're in Virginia and have an opportunity to see any of these races in person, please do. If you only have the ability to watch at home on FloRacing, please do. Even if you're only able to go to your local short track, please do. You never know. The next great late model driver could be just a couple towns over. Until next time, I'm Jesse King, and I'll see y'all around.
Hey, drove me up the track several times there, so see how